and welcome to the F1XL F1 lobby. It's me, Beasty and UFC, and I'm joined along with F1XL Gunhead. Welcome along.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. It's nice to be back in an F1 lobby.
and I've been promoted up to F1 lobby for this week only, so I'm going to take full advantage of this area.
Oh, too right.
So, USA, it's a iconic track in my opinion, even though a lot of people don't say it is. What's your thoughts of USA?
Okay, I love and hate this track. This track, qualifying does my head in because it has always been so easy to get an invalidated lap. But in the race, I think there's so many places that you can overtake. Places where people normally think is like a reasonable overtaking spot, you can make some of the best moves you can see in league racing. So one of the best tracks, and I'm really looking forward to this. It's really good to be in an F1 lobby with no pressure of racing, to see the guys, the top guys in F1XL doing what they do and having some great racing.
100%. There is going to be, as you say, there are some great places where you can make a move where people just not expecting it to happen and make up some nice positions up through the ranks.
Yeah, we've got some really big names to watch out for as well with this lobby. We've got Binary, we've got Simple Chris, Viper, LJW, we have Lightshot 16, TMS Map 45, Teen, I believe is fairly new to, well, he's new to me anyway, but I've seen him racing, he's very fast, so it's going to be very good. Look forward to this.
Yeah, this is the pinnacle of F1XL, so it's going to be an interesting mix. Cloudy, doesn't look like it's going to be raining that I can see from this angle.
No, it doesn't look like rain, and I'm hoping that somebody in the channel will let us know if we're expecting rain. Oh, pardon me.
It would, if someone is watching from the lobby, it would be great if you could just give us a little sneak peek of what the weather is saying it's going to be. That would help us greatly.
Rain does throw up some problems at USA, I will say. But it also, like, I've seen some of the best races I've seen at USA have been sort of wet to dry or dry to wet races, so it will make some interesting running if it does go wet.
But if it does stay dry, what would your plan of action be? For the actual race itself.
Well, I'd try and start on the softs if it was me, because especially early on in the race and even towards the sort of middle part of the race, you've got a good chance of getting a safety car. I'd like to start on the softs, go mediums, and probably go back to a set of softs. But I mean, I've not done a lot of running on this game, so I'm not sure what the sort of strategies are. But we have seen through our F2 commentary that people have managed to do that one-stop strategy at tracks where you just don't expect. So I think we saw it at France. We saw the one-stop strategy pay off for a win there. So yeah, I think for me, I'd like to start on the soft tyres, get a few sighting laps on the mediums, maybe a bit. Well, I can't change the fuel load, but maybe just try a few laps on the mediums, get right in, and then start on the softs personally. And it's just for USA, it's just managing no penalties. You know, keep it clean. It's so easy to get an exceeding limits warning or an extension warning or whatever you know, and pulling those penalties. So keep it clean, and I think you're in for a really good finish. I think the best I did here was, I think I started in last place because I couldn't set a clean lap in qualifying, and before a safety car came out, I'd progressed up to P3, and then I got a couple of random. Oh, as Lightshock just loses it in the wall, and he somehow managed to not die from that. I'm not sure how that's not killed his car. Sorry, I have clipped that for him, just so he can say, yeah, I survived this crash. So I'm not sure how he didn't DNF there. No front wing left at all. He's out on the medium tyres. I think the track's just a little bit too cold. And yeah, that didn't quite go to plan, I think, for Lightshot 16 there.
Egbert says there's 25% chance of rain. So
Is that
that could be
in the
a
race?
spanner in the works.
Is that in the race or in the qualifying though?
He's not said if it's in the race or not, but thank you very much for the follow from Black Ops 2.
Ooh,
That was
good
a quality game.
That was a brilliant game.
Very good game.
I still think I prefer Black Ops 1 though. I think you should have stuck with the OG. What about you from your past experiences at this track? What do you feel would you feel is a good strategy for this? I mean, I know the alternate is obviously quite powerful, but what's your sort of thoughts?
I've always tried to be on this track. I have tried to do a couple of things, and I also did today some little testing on this track. I actually went out and did some strategy options, and before today, in my head it was always a case of two-stop, medium, soft, soft, or soft, medium, soft. That was in what I always said to people would be where you need to be. But I've also noticed that you can run a soft to medium strategy here.
Yes,
which
it is
an
doable.
outlandish option, but you really have to look after your tyres. As I said, goes off track, but BXTN with the fastest time at the moment of a 1:32.4.
In front of,
not messing about.
Yeah, in front of NRX Jax. NRX, quite a fast group of drivers. I think Harvey C19. I think our as Binary then puts in the fast time 1:32 flat on the softs. I think Harvey, our current reigning champion, is Gamerman Steph. Gamerman Steph. I'm sorry to just cut myself off and just go on a different... Gamerman Steph has come so fast in this game. I'm not wrong, am I? He's gone leaps and bounds on pace. Like, just overall as well, like racecraft. I think he's going to be one to watch for this race, because I watched him on Saturday and he was absolutely flying on Saturday's race for PRS.
Yeah, and some drivers, I say, some people, they take time to bed into the actual game itself. And one thing I found is that the last game itself, I went into it, I felt really slow into it. But after a few weeks, I managed to just find something that made it click, and you just find pace where other people are struggling. And I think that's where Game Man Steph's getting it as well this season. This game he's for finding those areas that other people can't seem to take advantage of, if to say.
Yeah, I think he might have been like a bit of an underrated signing for McLaren. I think he's from what I understand of his previous pace, he was never a slouch. He was never a slow driver, and he's obviously running the 46 of Valentino Rossi, which, you know, you've got to be fast if you're pulling the 46 card out. And but like I found, like you say, like this game, I found when I first started playing it, I just wasn't quite up to speed, and some places it's really easy to lose so much time. But when it does click, you're like right up there, and you feel like you're going faster than you've ever gone before.
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
TMG Phoenix just lost it out the first corner, and has got no wing for his
Oh,
tires.
and that's a long, long way back to the pit lane for TMG Phoenix. Hopefully he can keep out of the way of everybody around him. If there's anybody going to go around him anyway. I just realised I haven't even got the map on. I've been so excited to be back in the lobby with the F1 boys. I didn't even... I've not turned anything on. I'm just watching them all go around like, yes! It's good to be back.
We're on board of Straka now, so we're going to do a hot lap around the USA. It looks like the Red Bull's getting out of the way from Mercedes and on track, so that's fine.
There's one thing I'll say about the F1 guys for everybody watching, and that is I joined the F1 lobby after doing 2 seasons in the F3 lobby for XL, and I think I joined the lobby expecting...
It's raining.
It is raining. I've just seen that on NRX as he's on his out lap. I think he'll be able to get this lap in before it gets a little bit too damp, although it might only be a short spell of rain because it is fairly bright. But I joined the F1 lobby, and I think I was a bit rose-tinted glasses. I think my best finish was P4 in Russia. These guys are ridiculously difficult to race against, not just because of their pace, but because their actual racecraft is ridiculous. The ability to to hold position, hold line when you've got no tyres left. Some of these guys are absolute experts at that. So for everybody watching, yeah, it's really, really difficult to race against these guys. Not because they're dirty, like I say, but because they are just so precise with what they do. And there
Exactly
are
that,
some new
and
names.
yeah, and would you say the track's got a sheen on it already?
Not quite, not from the perspective I've got of NRXaz. I am on board with him right now. He seems to be having relatively good grip going around the start of the first sector. I will keep an eye on it though. Let you know what I see. He's letting off a bit more than normal, drifting a little bit wider than I'd expect, but he's still got good grip. Purple first sector as well for NRXaz. I should say the top sort of 5 guys hoping that the track does get worse quickly so they don't have to go out and set another time.
Yeah, I'd say it shouldn't make no difference really to time-wise.
It's psychological time, I think that's what it is. Like, do you feel like you need to go more cautious because there's a little bit of rain coming down, or do you feel like you can push? I think this track is one of those that's a bit notorious for not losing grip compared to other tracks, particularly quickly. So,
well, here comes Sinful Chris now on the medium compound. P7 at the moment.
it's a decent time on the mediums for Sinful Chris. I'm now on board with NRX Adams, about to go over the line, just doing the final corner. Now, P3.
Very good lap times coming in.
Boy, he was just faster than BXTM. Both of them currently sharing the second row honours.
NRX Jack has invalidated his time, so he's going to have to go again.
Well, BXTM's just gone back into the pits. Trying to look down now, see. I think Archie may have. I don't know. Did he invalidate or did he set that? I didn't see.
I think he did set the time, but
did he back off?
It looked like he lost it. It looks like he backed off, and because he went off track right at the very last second.
Yeah, I jumped on board with him. I thought he did.
TMS Matt's going to go round and just start his hot lap now.
I think the next across the line on a hot lap is Lightshot 16 on the soft compound tyre. See what Lightshot 16 can do with these changing conditions. P5. So the track not quite getting too damp yet.
But it could be a half second. It could be that is already being lost.
It could be, yeah. Just got on board with TMG Phoenix. I think that was Jax. Was that Jax gone slow causing the yellow? Yes, Jax has gone slow causing the yellow in Sector 3. Yeah, I think this rain is starting to affect the drivers as TMG Phoenix invalidates his lap time, but he looked like he was struggling anyway.
Yeah, well, I think it's as we do. I'll come out of the. There was another SRT Fury. I'm sure I saw another car come out of the pits.
Into the pits. Fury, I think it's just come out of the pits, was X9. His teammate Lightshot goes slow in Sector 2, just allowing people to go past.
Did Jumpwood get back into the lobby? I saw him leave, but I didn't see him come back in.
I didn't see. Who was it again? Oh, was Matt's retired?
Jumpwood. Matt's had enough. Matt thinks that's it for this qualifying.
I'll invite Jumpwood back.
Hope you're doing well.
Yes, good evening, Balan. Welcome to the stream. I've invited Jumpwood back just in case he's not in the lobby.
Yeah, Lightshot follows into the pits. TMG Phoenix is around again, so he's not enjoying things out there at the moment.
Yeah, I think the track grip-wise is going to be on the edge for the drivers right now. I think it's still not quite got that wet weather shine. There's no spray, and I think DRS is still active.
Yeah, it's still active.
Got on board with Teen. Teen is going to be the next man to cross the lap. He's just going into sector 2 now.
Well, just had note that Lightshock said he no idea how he did that lap in those conditions.
No, I don't know how he did that either. That was a really good lap time for the change of conditions from Lightshock. When we've seen people like Phoenix spinning.
Well,
see what Teen can
trying to do is, yeah, you keep on Teen. I'm going to stay on Egbert's just to see what he can do as well. As we're just short of 4 minutes left in this qualifying session, as Viper and Lightshock and Sinful Chris all retire in the pits, so they all feel that's enough for the qualifying.
Yeah, really struggling for grip there, Teen. 134.5 for the Red Bull driver. I think their grip has gone now, so people retiring. I think anybody above Lightshot 16 would probably be safe now to just retire and not risk anything.
I personally think anyone above Xbox Nutheader, personally, I don't think anyone would be able to get any higher than that in these conditions. Yeah,
I think you're right. We have 3 guys unable to set lap time so far. We've got 4 minutes left of the session. And Jupwood, Phoenix and Egberts are yet to set times. NRX as is.
Jupwood joined the F2 lobby.
Did he?
Okay. Hi. Hello, Harvey. Hope you're doing well.
No, not Harvey. Not the reigning champ.
So Egbert's 134.6. So it just goes to show how much these changing conditions certainly changed the scenario out there. Too busy having a dump, says Chris. Didn't realise it was going to rain. Lucky I got a lap in just as it started to.
Well, he did it on the mediums as well, so... I think NRX has just backed out. I think he expected an invalidation because he did go off the track, but he didn't pull out any invalidated lap time for him as he lets Egbert through.
Archie out there on the intermediates, and these roundings, it's not intermediate conditions. And he's just found that out the hard way for NRX Archie. So it'd be interesting to see what we get in the race regards to the weather, as people are saying, come on BX, come
That's
on
Harvey.
BX, by the way.
I don't know why Harvey's saying that. Harvey
BX
was
in P4, so
Harvey was my
driver.
driver.
One of the first ones.
Yeah, Harvey was my driver last season. Got the title. I think that's purely based on my tutelage of the young driver. I don't think he was fast without me. He's G'ing up BXTN90. BXTN90, like you say, currently P4. BXTN, very good driver. He's got Lightshock for company on the row behind him, because we are not going to see any improvements in time. I'm watching NRX Archie right now, just sliding his way around the track. Yeah, I know, Harvey. Don't worry, I know. It's all my work. I know. I couldn't finish a race last season, but yeah. But you're welcome for your time. We did have a good race in Canada where we both started, I think, second and third. So, you know.
Well, there's people in the stream. If you could give us an idea on the race weather, that would help us greatly.
Yes.
Just to give us a, even if you turn around to us and say it's 25% or no percent, just gives us an idea what we're up against.
Yeah, that would be handy. That way we can see if we're going to be watching people sliding around like Archie as he does spin.
Oh,
and put his foot in it.
That's a quality drift there by Archie.
He's kept his foot in all the way. Did you see that? Right until he was facing the right way, he
I
kept his
did.
foot in there. He was like, I will get this car facing the right way. He's definitely overheated. Don't break your car, Archie. You've only got one. Oh no, he goes around again. Is he going to reverse his way down the pit lane now?
But he's going to have to get out of the way because TMG Phoenix is actually out on a lap.
Archie's
It may
carrying
not be-
on. I'm just putting it out there.
Well, he's going to have to be careful because TMG, last thing he wants to be doing is blocking another driver.
Right, I think he's going to hit the line. Facing the wrong way, but he did hit the line, so he is ghosted.
I've been doing a lot of practice.
That's why this TMG Phoenix crosses the line.
Well, I think Archie was there just purely to provide us some entertainment for the final few minutes there, and it was very well provided.
Banan, it is Star Steel. I don't have those set up just yet.
I'll be
Harvey.
back in a minute.
Okay. So we have a rundown of the USA qualifying. That is Game Man Steph putting himself on pole position, just peeping binary to the pole is indeed in the P2 position. And then we have NRX, AZ and the Mercedes in P3, BXT in P4, Light Shock, Jack, Viper, Pear, Sinful Chris, TMS Matt, Nutted, SRT Fury, Cut, Teen. Yeah, Harvey, those are the things I'll be dealing with in the next couple of weeks or so. It's my commands I need to sort out. So I totally forgot I had that as an option on my system, I must admit. But let's have a quick look at the standings for F1. So the standings should be up on the screen for you now.
So,
There we go.
it looks sunny, Beastie.
It most certainly does. And we have the standings up on the stream now so people can see where the standings are.
Ooh, I should probably have a look at that. Yeah, I thought as much.
That hot EMP15.
That's me.
So, Viper with the lead of quite a big lead, near enough double over Sinful Chris. And then we have Binary in P3, Light Shock in P4, Jolly in P5, who has not shown over the last 3 races. And this is, it's not in tonight, was he? So it's not racing tonight either. So that's 4 races in a row he's lost out on.
Which is
So that's
unfortunate,
gonna
really.
Yeah, because he's obviously with his results, he looked like he's going to be up there. Then we have NRX Archie, who's once again another driver that hasn't really. Didn't start the first 3 races, then he didn't finish another 2, and he's already in P6. So he could be someone to watch later on in this race. And then we have TMS Matt 45 in 7th, NRX AZ, Xbox Nuthead, and then BXTN in 10th. So
Yeah. It's a bit of
some
a...
big changes could all happen. Let's jump on this. I've just noticed they've started the lobby already.
Oh god, that was quick. I didn't even do that. Yeah, it was Jolly. When he turns up, Jolly is probably as fast as Viper, LLJW. He's obviously a multiple champion of F1XL. I think he won it twice in a row. I think he got 2 seasons in a row where he won the title challenge. So it's unfortunate that he's not been able to make it today. I don't know if he's having some issues on his end, but if he is, hopefully they will pan out well, get him back on track. But as you mentioned, NRX Archie done 3 races, a P4, a P1, and a P2. So good results for Archie. So yeah, one to watch out for in this race for potentially good result coming from P15.
Yeah. One thing I will bring your advice to though is the tyres that they're starting on. So everyone in the top 6 are all on the soft compound. Then everyone else underneath him, up down to Egbert's, are all on the mediums. And the predicted strategy is soft, soft, medium, or soft, soft, hard. That's what the game is saying is the best strategy.
Are we feeling a medium soft possibly coming on? Because obviously 4 P7 down to maybe P11. I think maybe mediums twice for people below P11.
I'm thinking some of these guys might go, if they've started on the mediums, is to run those mediums as long as they possibly can, then put on the softs.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is the guys on the softs could run them as long as they can and jump onto the mediums for the rest of the race. So it could provide a bit of excitement through this race, the pit stop strategy. It's something to keep our eyes on for this 28 lap race. The Light Shock was disqualified, along with NRX Jack having a slight collision. Luckily at the end, so they should still be fine for the start on temperature.
Warm tyres there, yeah.
Yeah.
So, just getting ready for the ghost car of... So I believe Jumpwood isn't actually in this lobby, or he shouldn't have been in this lobby. So hopefully his ghost car does not make any effect to this lobby at all.
Yeah, he possibly in F2. He possibly joined us first because we're normally the F2 commentating team. So maybe got himself in the wrong lobby.
The 3 lights, the 4 lights, and the lights are out, and they are. Game Man Steph looks good start, but Binary on the inside is going to be able to cut him off there. And he does take that position into the first corner.
Yeah, it was a great start.
A lot of dust. We have a yellow flag. That's for NR. Dropped all the way down to last position.
I think team just
as we've lost team. I didn't get to see what it was. It's brought out this virtual safety car though.
I didn't see what happened. I just saw him go completely sideways and go off track into the wall at turn 2.
So big changes. One of the biggest changes here, Viper in P1 already.
Wait, how did that happen?
I have no clue. And how has he got a 2.5 second lead over everyone else?
He's not slowing. I don't know if he's got a virtual safety car glitch.
Something's happened there. That's really odd. But yeah, he's just carrying on.
He's not slowed down at all. He is full throttle.
Yeah, and Binary is obviously having to go with the safety car and not put his foot down.
No, I think that's something for the stewards to deal with maybe later on. As Viper goes ghosted. What's happened to Viper now?
I think Viper isn't there. He's joined. He's just joined back. He left, but I guess he had lost out, dropped out, and the ghost car just carried on.
I think the ghost car carried on like nothing happened, and
yeah, and give me Binary. Trying to get back on board the Binary, and it kept staying on Viper. So I'm not sure what happened there, but I guess him lagging out obviously just caused the issue with that car, and
gave him
now
a
they're gonna have to
massive
try and
advantage.
catch up again. Yeah,
oh, he is slowing down. He is slowing right down, allowing the pack to catch up. That's very sportsmanlike from Viper LLJW. He's slowed right down.
Oh, he has, hasn't he?
He don't
want to slow down too much.
No, he's letting him.
So he really wants to be.
No, I think he's letting him back through. He's just going to try and get back into position. Oh
That's
yeah,
very good sportsmanship there by Viper.
That's very good sport. Yeah, he's pulled back in front of Light Shock. Oh, what a guy!
That's fair play. I must admit that's something that you don't see every day.
No, I mean
I
a lot
must
of
admit,
people would have just gone for it.
I
there and be
probably
like,
would have taken full advantage of that. It wasn't my issue. I'm carrying on. But fair play to Viper there.
Yeah, fair play. He must have some confidence in himself to get the win still by just dropping himself back into P5 and allowing everybody to carry on.
Or just doesn't want to do something that potentially might cost him the win later on, which
I think if he did carry on,
the best thing for him to do.
Yeah, I think if he did carry on, the stewards probably would have looked into that and said, look, yeah, it wasn't your fault, but you still, took the lead when you shouldn't have had the lead, and they might have disqualified him entirely. So yeah, very well done from Viper there. As Binary retakes the lead of the Grand Prix, gaining a nice advantage. Sorry, over Gamerman Steph, 1.1 second advantage currently over the McLaren driver in P2.
Yep, and Light Shock all over the rear end of Viper as he is on the softer compound. But it's gonna Viper, as we know, Viper's not one to move around, and so we have Xbox Nuthead has gone off track. Doesn't look like he's got damage, so he's going to be able to carry on. And luckily for him, he does have the medium compound, so he's going to be able to carry on nicely into this race.
We do have a bit of a train forming as well, but behind TMS Map 45.
Yeah, Zegbutts has just got past Pear for P8. So they're going to be fighting through now. It's obviously the DRS is obviously activated this lap.
Yeah, I think
we've got.
Sorry, I think we have two clear groups forming now. We have not quite a train, but a big group of cars from Gamerman Steph all the way down to Pair F1, and then from TMS Matt all the way down to Jutwood.
This SRT Fury in the wall. He went side by side with another driver, and luckily, oh no, he has gone into the pits. It didn't look like he got damaged, but obviously the gamer said he's got damage, so he's flown into the pits to get it rectified.
Yeah, can't blame him for that. He's still got the chance of a mid to late safety car in this race to bring his race back to him. He might as well carry on now with the best possible grip.
Straka and Archie are fighting over. Oh, and Archie does get that move done over Straka. Oh, it's TMG Phoenix having a look on the other side and gets the move done there.
Straka dropping.
He's dropping down. May have an issue that we're not being able to see. Let's jump back on board of NRX AZ as he is hunting down Game Man Steph for that P3. Not being able to do anything just yet, but Viper does get past BXTN to move himself up to 4th position. BX going to be fighting this as well.
Yeah, obviously BX on the softer compound tyre. Doesn't want to bring Light Shock and Chris into it too much. Wants to probably try and get back ahead of Viper.
As Egberts picks up a time penalty. So we're just going to stay on board of this at the moment with Viper, BX, Light Shock and Sinful Chris all within this little bunch here. They've got obviously Egberts that's been brought into this fight as well.
Yeah, BXTN is another driver that's come up really well from the F2 sort of division of F1XL. He was very quick in the last 2 seasons of F2 in the previous game, and has come on very well in this game. Obviously P5 right now, behind Viper LLJW. So BX is another one to watch for some good points throughout the season.
Yeah, and I've just saw something now of the corner of my eye when was on board with BXTN. The Sinful Chris took a wider line on the S's than the other drivers did. I don't know if it's because he's on a pad and the other guys are on wheels, but he seemed to take a wide line during those S's.
Maybe it's the tyre situation for him that's given him a slightly different line. Obviously the medium tyres will go a lot longer into this first stint than the soft, so maybe it's just a tyre wear difference.
It could well be, yeah, definitely could be that. There's no movements are being done apart from TMG Phoenix getting past Archie. So BX keeping on the rear end of Viper, taking full advantage of that DRS, as Binary has now got a 1.6 second lead in first position. So we're no one looking to go for an early pit stop, so we're 6 laps into this race.
Yeah, I'm sitting on board with Simple Chris now, and it looks like he's just sort of biding his time because he knows that the 2 guys in front of him are going to have to stop before him, and I think if he can stay with him, he knows he can just ease out this stint and just maybe get a few positions in the long run if he makes his pit stops at the right time.
Yeah, and we got Draco now in the pits, potentially getting that damage fixed that he had.
Light shot from right on the rear end of BXTN90. BXTN90 lets him go. Now that was interesting. Realising
maybe the fact that he thought, do you know what, I'm going to lose DRS here, I'll pick it off you instead.
Possibly, but that's, I mean, he's put himself right within the grips of Simple Chris, and Simple Chris makes the move as well.
Yeah, and BX doesn't have that DRS.
That was a very strange call from BXTN. Obviously, he owes nothing to any of the drivers around him. His teammate hasn't made the race, so I don't know. Maybe he just feels like he might be in a bit of a higher position than he expected. I don't know. That was a strange call from BXTN.
It might be a case that he's going, I'm looking after my tyres, you go ruin your tyres instead.
Maybe, but he's still going to be stuck in the dirty air of Simple Chris, so it's not going to be massively beneficial.
Very true.
It's an odd call.
It's an odd call, but it could be something that we see later on, as this little train is going to be bringing into effect. It's brought pair into this now, as Egberts gets really close behind BXTN there.
Yeah, the other thing I've noticed with BXTN compared to the other drivers around him is he's really burned through his ERS storage. So he's only got 10%, where Chris in front of him has 52, and Egbert behind is 46%. So maybe he was just struggling to keep in with Viper, and he just thought maybe he'd be better off letting him go and just conserving his race, hoping for a good finish toward the end.
Well, just noticed that NRXAZ has got a 3-second penalty, and that's going to allow the other drivers behind him just to sit there and go, okay, I don't have to do anything extravagant. But Game Man Steph, no, he's not looking into that move just yet, as we are seeing moves down the Simple Chris on the light shock. Egberts and Pear getting past BX.
BX might look at an earlier stop here. Maybe he is struggling with tyre wear. Maybe that's his problem.
So it's all going to be down to Egberts as obviously White Shock's teammate, and those two really could do some damage here if they called a strategy correctly between the two.
Yeah, they really could. I do think BX struggles. He does dive in the pits along with Egberts.
Oh.
Egberts lost his wing on the way in though, so Egberts clips the wall. That's going to be a wing change. Hopefully they get around to doing it in time.
BX also pits as well.
But that's not what Egbert wanted. He goes into the hard tyres.
Yeah, and he's also obviously had to change that wing, so he's going to be dropped back a lot further as BX comes out
comfortably ahead of Egberts.
Yeah, a good 5 seconds according to this, so that's going to help him massively.
The VX may be looking at that soft medium strat as being his best chance for a good finish.
Makes sense, as Game Man Steph looking at AZ, but he's not able to just get that move just yet. But he could be also thinking he doesn't have to make that move due to AZ's penalty.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is the more more Game Man Stuff sits behind as, the more time Binary's going to gain over the both of them, and the more he's allowing Viper to catch up onto the back of him. And I mean, I'd sooner have Viper behind Az than Viper behind myself.
I must admit, I was expecting Lightshock to dive into the pits then, but he's carried on. Because one thing I've noticed that Viper is now starting to just claw into these top 3 of these soft runners. So the mediums obviously starting to come into effect, where the softs are just starting to drop off a little bit.
Yeah, and the other thing I've noticed as well is Jutwood's Ghost on the soft tyres is right on the back of NRX Archie. Now, I know that it's not really an issue in terms of the race, but for NRX Archie, if Jutwood's Ghost does pass him, that creates a bit of an issue for Archie in the sense of he's following a car that he shouldn't be following, causing tyre wear on his mediums that he shouldn't be sort of having, if you know what I mean. Because obviously Jutwood's car shouldn't really be there.
It should really be ghosted, so it shouldn't really affect him.
It is ghosted, but it will, like, the thing I found with this game is even if the car's ghosted, it adds on to the, like, you still get the slipstream, you still get all the negative effects of following a car. Even if it's ghosted.
That is true.
Which is not ideal. Obviously, I think they have their AI turned up quite high for this race.
Yeah, isn't it, like, in the 90s?
I think when I was doing it, we had it at 100. Because that way it shouldn't create too many, like, really ill effects as far as pace when it comes to a safety car, but
yeah,
they might have set it to 95.
We're on board now with Viper, as Lightshock does pit this lap. So Lightshock flying into the pits to get a new set of tyres on.
Hard tyres for Lightshock.
Harvey in the chat says soft, medium, soft is faster. You'll still get dirty air from ghosted cars. No slipstream though. To say Archie is doing no line, he is doing pretty good.
Oh, well, that's a good bit of information on NRX Archie if he's doing no line.
Yeah, as Jack also goes into the pits and looks like he's putting the medium compound on. He has, yeah.
Yeah, I know you don't get the slipstream from ghost cars. You do still get DRS from ghost cars. But again, you do get the ill effects. You do get the tyre deg from following a car around. You do get the overheating.
Yeah, as BX gets the move on Xbox Nutted, as BX is obviously on the softer medium compound. The fresher medium compound is what I was meant to say there.
Don't worry, I knew what you meant.
TMS Matt also on the rear end of TMG Phoenix, trying to get the position done there because they're fighting over 7th.
Yeah, TMS Matt seems to be holding his tyres together quite well. TMG Phoenix have a little lock-up in Sector 3 so far.
Yeah, I missed the position where Viper actually got past Game Man Steph and NRX AZ, as AZ flies into the pits now. Binary's still going. He's got a 4.4 second lead over Viper. So we could see Binary doing that one stop if he's able to get those tyres to the pit stop position that he needs them to be in.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the gap sort of drops to through this lap, because obviously Viper will have the superior grip over Binary.
Well, AZ has just come back out of the pits and he's in 10th position on the medium compound. So, closest fight at the moment. Game Main Steph also on the soft with, I was about to say Jubwood, but obviously he's not actually in the race. Strack obviously did come back out on the soft compound, but he's even not been. He's trying to make up time, isn't he? Because he had that damage at the start of the race.
Yes, he did. I was just on board with TMS Matt trying to close in on the back of Phoenix, but he went really deep into the hairpin coming into the back straight and lost a big chunk of time. So not quite what he was hoping for TMS Matt, as Phoenix opens the gap a little bit to over a second. So Matt losing the DRS now as well.
He has got a few corners still to go before obviously the next DRS. Oh, he had a little bit of a tank slapper there, TMS Matt.
Yeah, the
Managed
other
to saves it, but he's
the
going
oth-
to lose time there.
the other thing to look at between the two drivers, Matt and Phoenix, is the ERS deployment available, and that is massively in Phoenix's favour at the minute, as he has 43% over Matt's 20.
I must admit, I'm shocked to see 11 lap softs. I didn't think I'd see it. And that is what Binary, Game Man Steph, and, well, not him because he's not there, as Xbox Nuthead is crashed into the pit wall.
Oh, I just saw that,
The
yeah.
Ferrari driver is going to have to change the wing now.
That's not ideal. That's the second wing we've seen lost into that pit lane this evening already.
Fury goes into the pits as we have a virtual safety car, so he's seen it as taking full advantage there. Fury doing a very clever thing there, is dumping in with the virtual safety cars. He's not going to lose any time.
And this time, people will be pleased to know that Viper does have the same rules as everybody else with this virtual safety car.
As race control is ended the virtual safety car.
Sorry, that was a really bad time for the safety car to end for Viper. He lost half a second there over Binary. Viper coming into the hairpin off the back straight, just about to get on the power, and then it ended right when he touched the brake. So he lost a chunk of time there to Binary, as Binary was already around the corner.
Yeah, and
Binary
just
boxes.
checking now. Here we go. Binary coming into the pits now.
Now, is he going to go on set hards to the end, or is he going to go for mediums?
We're going to stay on board with Binary, the Ferrari driver.
Medium
He's
tyres.
putting the medium compound on. And he's being held.
The other one, I think there was another car coming through the pit lane. The other one to look at, though, is Simple Chris. Only 1.2 back on Viper. Chasing down the Aston Martin driver is the Mercedes man.
Binary came out in 6th position, right behind TMS Matt and TMG Phoenix.
Oh, you could come out in a worse place behind TMS Matt. Matt is notoriously difficult to overtake. I know he's got the tyre advantage, he might make it look easy, but Matt has always been notoriously difficult to overtake.
Ooh, Binary had to just move out of the way there. But he
Just
does
makes
get
the move.
He does.
But Matt
He's going to get the DRS there.
Ooh, he does, yeah.
But TMS Matt could get the slipstream there to help drag him along.
He did look for the switchback, did Matt, but unfortunately he didn't quite have that DRS, which would have given him the advantage over Binary.
If TMS Matt is clever here, he could potentially get that move alongside Binary, keeping him within that DRS range, then he'll be able to fight it back with TMG Phoenix again.
Yes, he could, yeah, you're right.
Game Man Steph gets the move position done on BXTN4 10th position, and right up behind Lightshock, who chose the harder compound. He felt he was going to be more competitive on the harder compound than the other drivers.
Well, he's still
That'd
got
be
a long
something
way
to watch.
Yeah, he's still got a long way to go in the race. Still got 14 laps for Lightshot 16 to make those hard tyres work. We know he's going to the end on them, provided he doesn't get a random late safety car. But Gamerman Steph looks on the inside into turn 1, and he makes a move. Lightshock didn't fight it. Lightshock knew that he was on a different compound tyre, knew they were on a different strategy, and he didn't fight it too hard. Gave him the space around the corner. Now Lightshock just needs to sit in behind Game Man Steph and let him drag him back towards the front runners, I think.
That would be the best thing for him to do. Is, as you say, is the harder compound is going to come into effect later on into this race. So that's where potentially his mindset is going to be. And taking advantage of the DRS, he's just basically pushing himself further up the field with that help.
If Lightshock can stay behind Game Man Steph, if he can keep with those medium tyres, Steph obviously started P2, boxed out of P3 or 4, I think. So, obviously Lightshock, if Game Man Steph does box again, we'll have more than a 20-second advantage over those that are stopping twice.
Very true. And for instance, we've got the closest fighter on the field at the moment is NOXAZ. Then we've got Lightshock and BX, NOX Jack. Other than that, they're starting to spread out a little bit.
Yeah, this is the only problem with USA. It's a very long, very wide track. And that does give the opportunity to make a gap and get an advantage over those around you. However, as
NOX Archie tries to move across to break the slipstream, but it didn't work as AZ did get the move done along the start-finish straight.
that was a nice, easy move from the second-placed Mercedes driver, NRX has. Good points for Mercedes right now in this race from F1, with a P7 and a P2 as it stands. Obviously, Chris and Viper yet to stop.
Yeah, it's like people that haven't stopped yet. Let's have a quick look at that. Is Viper, Sinful Chris, Pair F1, TMG Phoenix, TMS Matt, and NOX Archie.
Sorry.
They haven't stopped yet, and bless you.
Sorry. Really bad time to sneeze. I felt really bad. Oh, no, but yeah,
Jack,
you're right.
Having a look at BX. Oh, that's really close by NRX Jack. Pushes BX off the track there. It's a little bit. Oh, as BX spun round. That was really. I'm not sure about that fight in there. I personally think BX potentially might be a little bit hot under the helmet there.
Yeah, it was difficult, and that was a bit of a harsh move onto the hairpin from Jack, but then BX unwilling to give up the corner into the following turn. So
Perry to the pits, and he's on the soft compound. 12 laps to go.
Ooh, well, they can make it that far.
They potentially could make it. If he looks after him, he's going to be on lower fuel, so he isn't going to have the higher fuel compound to bother him down as well. So they're going to be able to go that length, I think.
Yeah, they will be, and they are a fresh set as well. He's right behind BX. As usual, BX will be a little bit grumpy about what's just happened. So he wants to be careful making this move when he gets onto the back of him, and I think he will make it under the DRS.
As we see, Light Shock is starting to pick up time on Archie.
Yeah, I think we're coming to that switchover period now for tyres. As Archie's on 15 lap old mediums.
As Light Shock does have a look, and he's alongside and he makes it into that corner. Is Archie going to fight back? He's having a look at it, but he knows he can't do nothing there.
Lightshock hit the apex perfectly, but Archie ran the brake in so well there that I thought he was going to make that switchback. That was really good driving from the pair of them.
Yeah, well, I honestly was expecting it to happen, as Viper does dive into the pits, and Sinful Chris is carried on.
Yeah, Viper's definitely going for the one stop as he jumps onto a set of soft tyres. Game-Man Steph as well is right on the back of NRX as
TMS Matt 45 and Archie taking out the brake board at the pit entrance there, making sure no one else can see it.
Can't help themselves, can they?
No, they definitely can't. So, Light Shock up into P7 now. Viper on the soft in P6. He's going to be flying now with only 11 laps to go. We've got Game Man Steph on the rear end of NOX AZ, but he's got Viper right on the rear end. Is Viper going to look for that move now? He has, and he's got it done. And Game Man Steph, he's going to be looking to move along. He's got the DRS on Viper, but Viper's already half a second gone, and Viper's already looking at AZ. He's got a move already.
That was a great move from Viper. He was not willing to hang about there, so Game Man Steph has a lot of pushing to do if he wants to keep on the back of him. However, I think Viper has dragged him into a point where if Simple Chris boxes now, he's going to wind up behind all of them. He might wind up behind Lightshot.
Simple Chris has actually gone into the pit right now.
Going to keep an eye on where Chris comes out, because I think he might wind up behind Lightshot. It really depends how quick this stop is.
Let's stay on board of him. Let's see where he comes out. So we've got 10 laps left to go, and for some reason it's still showing me the pit box.
Just,
it won't let me. There we go.
Just in front of Lightshot 16. He just made it out ahead.
Yeah, so he's just made it out in front of that little pack. That was the last thing we wanted, was to be behind that pack. But Viper was already 2 carbs, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, about 5.5 seconds already in front of Simple Chris, because he pitted for Simple Chris.
Yeah, that's the undercut there. That's the sting of the undercut from the medium tyre runners. And obviously Viper on the back of Binary... Viper will be on the back of Binary in the next few laps, because those soft tyres on pace are far superior, but he doesn't want to burn them out before the end. So 7 seconds seems like a lot, but it's not when you think about the tyre wear at this track.
Well, it's obviously the other cars he was following, they were on the fresh mediums as well, so it's all going to be changed as TMS Matt 45 gets past Egberts to come into P10.
I think the best race-long battle so far will have been between Gamer and Steph and NRX as the difference in pit strategies are obviously throwing up a bit of a race between these two for that final podium spot as it stands.
As Viper puts in the fastest lap of 1:34.1. Simple Chris on the rear end now of the 2 medium runners. He wants to really clear these 2 as quickly as possibly can to try and make some time up. Oh, his teammate moves out of the way for him.
Brilliant team play there from Az. I thought he might get out of the way fairly sharp, and he really did. He gave up a bit of a fight of his own there to allow his teammate through.
Yeah, I must admit, I wasn't expecting it to happen right where it did, though. I thought it happened like down one of the straights or something like that.
No, I think Az realises he can still get the DRS, so he's not overall going to lose too much on Steph if he can get with him, but I think he has lost it completely. No, he is. He's on DRS.
Yep, so he does get the move done on Game Man Steph, so Simple Chris moves himself up into P3. Viper now 5 seconds behind Binary with 9 laps left to go.
I think that was only sort of 2 laps from that 7 seconds down to 5, so second a lap for Viper at the minute on Binary.
Yeah, so in theory we should see him coming up right behind Binary, and I would say lap 23,
yeah,
24.
Probably, but it's all about if Viper is holding those tyres in good shape for the rest of the race as well. He's got to keep them alive, because if he gets past Binary's going to have far superior grip as Chris sets the fastest lap with the 1:33.1.
That's a second faster than Viper.
Very good lap from Simple Chris.
So we're on board now with NRX Jack, because he's on the medium compound. The same lap tyre as Lightshock, but Lightshock is on the hard compound.
I'll tell you what, I was just watching Chris through those twisty left rights in sector 1, and he had every apex down to a T there. That was great driving from Simple Chris.
Looking to improve his lap time potentially.
Possibly, he's already pulled a gap on Game Man Steph.
We're staying on board with NRX Jack, so he is going to get the DRS on the Alpine driver with Lightshock. Also trying to keep an eye on Pear, as he's going to be making the move on AZ for P5.
Yeah, I've been sat on the back of this one for a little while, and he's going for the outside of the hairpin. Ooh, bit of a squeeze. Good move,
but
though.
He gets it done. He's undecisive when he was going to make that move, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
NRX Jack did get that move done on Lightshock as well.
Has made the right call himself by sitting in the middle of the track there, and There had to be. He had to make his mind up and went for the outside.
He definitely was undecisive which side, what he's going to go for.
Yeah, that was a good move from Per. So that's a McLaren 4-5 at the minute. So great points for the McLaren team.
Yeah, the one stop is extremely powerful that I can see. So it's all about keeping clean lap times and keeping the car. Obviously, it's extremely difficult to get a clean race in here without any penalties. But that is what the top three have done, along with Lightshock, TMG Phoenix, TMS Matt, and oh, that's it. I was going to say the other driver, but he's ghosted, as we know.
Yeah, I nearly said Juppwood as well. I was like, yeah, Juppwood's there.
Oh, and I think I've just done the commentator curse with Lightshock picking up a time penalty.
He's definitely going to blame me for that one.
Most definitely.
The thing for Lightshock though is he's still going to get the move on. Well, he's still going to get the position over Az. Jack is only 0.7 ahead, and he's got 9 seconds worth of penalties at the moment. So Lightshock doesn't have to try too hard to pass him, but he does want to get around him so he can get closer to Az and Per.
Yeah, I've just been on board with AZ and Per. Per's not really made a lot of inroads into Gangman Steph. He's only just broken the DRS, and for some reason he's dropped back quite a bit now.
Yeah, it might be the nature of the DRS that allowed Az to stay closer to Per.
Yeah, he's dropped back by 2.3 seconds when I said that, so another commentator curse right after each other. So
Viper's not going to win this race. Did I just curse Binary or Viper? There you go.
As Viper flies into the pits.
And Viper within 1.7 now Binary, but it's all about tyre wear, long distance, longevity. They've still got 7.5 laps to go. Who's going to have the superior tyre wear? Sorry, 6.5 laps to go. No, wait, I'm going the wrong way. 5.5 laps. I'll get there eventually. My God. I've fallen asleep at the wheel. Good thing I'm not driving.
TMG Phoenix right on the rear end of Lightshock here, and I'm dreading where Lightshock potentially might be going with this, because at the moment TMG Phoenix is going to get this move done.
But with a hard tyre strategy, we'll keep him in P8 if Phoenix does make the move, just based on the penalties from Jack. But Phoenix, again, he'll want to make moves, because the closer he can get to Az, the further up the field he's going to get through penalties, because Per F1 himself has 6 seconds.
Yeah, and he's right on the rear end of Lightshock, is extremely close for the Red Bull driver. I'm surprised he's not worried about the dirty air from Lightshock's car.
I think with this, at this point in the race, with the dirty air, it's less impactful with the lower or the lighter fuel loads that they all have on board. So he's going to want to make the move, but he's going to have to be patient with it as well.
Yeah, and Viper's just starting to close in on that, just under that second on Binary. So we'll keep a close eye on that as that develops along this as well.
As Rainmaker in the chat says, glory is not given. He's not wrong.
Can't definitely deny that statement. You definitely got to grasp it. As Straka is back in the pits, back out on the soft compound as he comes out. Xbox Nutted, Straka, SRT Fury, they've not had a race here at all. Gets the move done on that. So does TMG. Brought himself alongside Lightshock. He goes on the inside. He does get the move done. Jack goes into the rear end of Lightshock. Lightshock's out. Is Lightshock out? Yeah, I think he's
Virtual safety
virtual
car.
safety car. I think that's for light shot being off the track.
I think it is, yeah. I think the light shock damage has brought this out, and I think he was right when I commented to him earlier that he did not need a commentator's curse, that his luck is just not there.
Yeah, and that move that we was on board with, we can see it on the rear end when we was watching it. As F1XL Jimmy says, come on Chris and AZ. The Mercedes TO willing his team on. For Viper, is the worst time for the virtual safety car to come out though, because obviously he's not going to be able to use that DRS and take advantage. In these last 4 laps, he's got to get this done ASAP on the Red Bull, the Ferrari driver binary.
Equally, he's going to be able to use his teammate Nuthead for DRS.
Be careful when you come up to the...
Yeah, everyone did dive into the was on obviously mediums or anything like that. They all dived into the pits and jumped on, apart from binary game man Steph and.
You didn't pit.
No, I'm not going to say that word.
I'll tell you what, Lightshock may be able to gain enough positions here, because he's obviously technically already ahead of Jutwood. He's going to might gain enough time to make some positions up through penalties in order to secure himself points.
Yeah, so the Viper is now on the rear end of binary. Is he going to look at it now? He did have a little look, but decided against it.
I think this is going to come down to tyre wear. I think Binary will be in a better position. But Viper, with the pace on the softs.
So we're 3 laps left of this race. Can Binary hold off the charge of Viper to take the USA win? Sinful Chris potentially just sitting there looking for a position where he tries to get something done and take advantage of potentially a mistake may happen between these two.
Potentially, is Viper goes for
goes out. Binary is not able to defend that corner as Viper does get it done well in advance. So Viper does take the lead of this USA Grand Prix. The Aston Martin driver going to have to try and do everything he can now to try and maximise these tyres the best he can. Because it is that area where they start to really drop off.
Yeah, he's in that sort of danger zone now where, yes, he's ahead, but he's got to keep those tyres alive to the end.
So
all Binary has to do is stay within that DRS in order to, maximise on the possibility of those tyres dropping off.
Yeah, and we're going to jump on board with NOX Jack quickly. He's on the rear end of AZ again. So the NOX team, they seem to be fighting amongst themselves in this race at the moment. They seem to be alongside each other quite a while.
As Az picked up another penalty.
Which is going to hurt him later on.
Are we going to see a fastest lap here from Light Shock though? I think we might. Not quite. 1:33.2. 3 seconds faster than his previous personal best. Straka sets the fastest lap with a 1:33.0.
And now it's Jack also picking up a penalty, so that fight is dwindling down. TMG Phoenix having a look at Per as Per has moved into P5. We have a car off. Is that Jack?
That is Jack. Jack
Yeah,
is 15 seconds of penalties.
And he's just thrown himself into the wall.
Frustrating race for Jack.
There. Luckily, this is obviously late stage of the race. We're not going to be affected by a safety car or anything like that.
Bajok's got a bit of a hill to climb if he wants to get in the points here. He's got a few seconds he needs to make up on BXTN. He's got about 5, 6, 7, 7 seconds I think he needs to make up to get
It's
a point
about
from
8
this race.
seconds. Let's go with the leader. So yeah, it's about 5 seconds. So let's have a look, because Binary is still holding on to the DRS of Viper. Just trying to see if Viper's tyres do drop off and he can take advantage of it, because we've still got this lap and the next lap left to go.
It's Jack
There's
for
NOX
tyres.
Jack's for tyres in the pit. That's the best place to do it, not on track.
So, well, Binary might have lined himself up very well here if he could just stay on the back of Viper.
Yeah, so say if he has, as TMG Phoenix does get into P5 again for over pair F1, so the Red Bull and McLaren fighting over that P5 at the moment. But Binary, we're going to stay on board now for this remaining lap, as Binary, the Ferrari driver, is going to have to try and do everything he can to try and take this position back off Viper. Binary is going to be hoping that Viper has ruined his tyres by this point. Would you reckon it's a possibility that he's ruined his tyres at this point?
I do. I think it's very possible for Binary, if he can get this sector perfect, to get onto the back of Viper enough to make use of the DRS on the back straight. Oh, he's definitely within range. Now is he going to get the move done?
I was just double checking everything was okay on the stream.
He's going for it. He's going for the move.
He's having a look. Viper's going to try and push him back out. Oh, it's Viper's spun.
Was there
Who
any
was on board
contact?
with
I
that?
didn't see contact.
It looked like Viper went to try and move in, and he lost. It looked like he lost the rear end of his car, and it just spun him round.
Oh, simple
There was
Chris will be
contact
thanking his lucky
between-
stars.
There was contact, but it looked more like he was trying to dive back into the inside, and that's how it didn't look like it was anything malicious. It just looked like he tried to do something and it lost the traction.
Well,
So
on that,
Binary takes the checkered flag along with Sinful Chris, and then Viper coming in third place. So luckily he still gets the podium. Game Man Steph comes in P4, TMG Phoenix in P5, Perry P6, TMS Matt 45 in P7. And then it's going to be a case of who's got the points and who hasn't, as NOX takes the check flag in P8. Archie stays in P9th, but BX coming across the line now. He stays P10, but Lightshock jumps him into P10. But jump. Oh,
well,
there you go.
double
Jump. He's
jump
not
counts,
going
fine.
to. SRT Fury in P15. As Xbox Nuthead has already finished the race, as he was behind the lead cars. Oh, what an epic finish to the finish of this race.
Let's put it this way.
So it all went to... Did it all go to master plan? Did we see the strategies work for certain drivers? As SRT Fury takes full advantage of crossing the line very slowly. As I say, if anything was to go wrong there, I'm just not my call to say. That is solely down to if they feel it's a ticket team issue, it's their job to sort out, not ours.
Yeah, I think
There's-
so.
Binary takes the top step, along with Sinful Chris, and then Viper in P3. Do you want to get the drivers in for the podiums?
I'll have a
And
go.
I'll do the rundown. So, P1, Binary in the Ferrari with the one-stop strategy. Then Simple Chris with one-stop strategy in the Mercedes in P2. Viper with the same strategy in the Aston Martin in P3. Game Man Steph, TMG Phoenix, Pair F1, TMS Mach 45, NOX AZ, NOX Archie, and Light Shock will be in P10. BXTN, Stracker, Egberts, SRT Fury, Xbox Nuthead. So that's the rundown of the. Let's get the race director as well, just for those people that need it. As we move on to the podiums, and
I think it is,
F1XL Gunhead is going to take you through
Because
P1 with Binary.
So Binary, congratulations on the win there at USA.
Make sure you include your audio.
Yes, make sure you include your audio. And how do you, from qualifying to the race, did you expect to be able to take the win here with the one-stop strategy, or were you hoping just for a podium?
To be honest, you always hope. I've always liked USA. I've always had a relatively good relationship with it. But you know, Viper qualifying as high as he did on the medium tyres, I thought, well, P2, maybe P3s at best, depending on how quickly they get through. But then I think they got held for maybe a lap or two too many on the mediums when they were stuck behind Az and Steph, and that allowed me just to pull a bit more of a gap. And then yeah, it was tough. I mean, those VSCs in the second stint definitely helped, allowed me to save a bit of ERS and just, you know, make sure the tires were alright and stop Viper from rapidly closing me down. But it was good to get a win. I think I thought I would be on the podium, but winning the race was just a good bonus.
It was a good race, I think, between yourself and Viper. I think me and Beastie were looking purely on tyre wear, because I think pace-wise you two were fairly similar, I think, through the whole race. I said as well during the VSC, I think it ended at the perfect time for you, especially on the first one. I think it ended just as you went around the hairpin on the second DRS straight, which gave you the advantage. Do you think you'll be able to replicate this form going into the next round, or are you just again hoping for that podium finish, keeping the points going for your team?
I mean, to be honest, I don't even know what the next round is. Just taking it one race at a time, and just looking to have a good races. To be honest, I know there's not really any hope of me winning the title, so I'm just looking for some good points and just more consistency and fact finding, really. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, you did a really good race from start to finish there.
Thank you.
Have you got any comments there for your battle between yourself and Viper through the race? I know it wasn't exactly wheel to wheel for the whole race, but I know it was sort of a bit of a time trial between the two of you. So, any comments to Viper for that one, or were you just happy?
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't pull away after he got past me. I know the softs, from my experience in the first stint, once they went, it was literally just holding on. But I thought, you know, Viper's pace in general, because he did catch quite quickly. Maybe it's just, you know, me being in his drag might have helped me a little bit. I noticed he took a sort of weirder line through the corner before you get to the top of the hill. Obviously gets him a good exit through there, but I think it made him a little bit slower and allowed me to get close every single time for the ERS. And he was also slow through that long right-hander. Maybe he was lifting, maybe he just wanted a bit of a battle towards the last couple of laps, I don't know. You know, you never can tell with Viper, he likes to play games. But yeah, I think he was one of the fastest, and I thought he'll win it, but it was certainly close.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining from our point of view, and congratulations on the win, Binary. I think you deserved it.
Monaco next.
Monaco.
It is Monaco next, Jess.
Oh, wow.
Harvey might show up.
Well, as long as nobody gets stuck behind Matt, it'll be fine. We'll all have an enjoyable race.
I'm glad I'm not racing now for Monaco. Congratulations, mate. I think we'll move on to Simple Chris now then. Do you want to take the lead on this one, Beastie, or...?
Yep. So, Simple Chris P2. Talk us through your qualifying first. How'd you get on qualifying?
That was great. I really enjoyed being on the toilet. Had some high quality toilet paper to wipe my arse while the rain was slowly brewing in. I mean, I didn't even get a chance to check the weather for quality. I just got back and then everyone was sort of out on track and I was still there, and then it started drizzling a bit as I was going round to start my lap. It held off until the last sector. So I think I did a decent lap. I think I was about 2-3 tenths off Viper's time. I don't know how early he went out in the session, but it obviously worked out in the end when it came to the race.
Yeah, so start of the race. You had obviously a few drivers around you on different variations of strategies. What was your ploy for the start of the race there?
The grapple hook onto the back of Viper's car and follow him as high as I could. No, this obviously XL is such a tough league in the top tier, and there's a lot of really competitive drivers, and obviously I knew the softs would be quick at the end, at the start of the race. Sorry, so just sort of keeping with them until they started battling each other or got towards the pits. I know they don't last that long, maybe about 10 laps or so, and then they just start to fall away. But when you're on the alternate strategy, you just need to try and get as high as you can before the pits. Thankfully I got to about 5th or 6th or something it was, I think, at the time. And then obviously Viper pit before me. I was hoping for a safety car to come out just as because I said to Viper, I'm not going to catch you if I just pit with you. He had a few tenths per lap on us the whole race, so just extended one lap in the hope that a safety car would come out when I came back around, and hopefully it would have jumped us to the front of the pack, but never came. And then I had to sort of blast back onto the back of them if I could, but that was a few tenths a lap short that whole race, and I just said at the end I was hoping to get second, but it wasn't to jump was to jump the wrong guy really. I thought I was going to try and pass Binary for second, but in the end Viper lost his sort of rears towards the end of the race, and like second for a second week in a row.
Yep, so congratulations on P2, and what's your opinion on Monaco?
I think I've just booked a holiday to skip that one night. So. If my race is anything to go by in another league, then I'll might be crawling around like Matt 45 does. So he always seems to shit house a podium out somewhere, so hopefully I can do the same.
It's all about the pad at Monaco, isn't it? I think.
Even the pad didn't save me.
Well, congratulations, and
Cheers, mate.
Gunhead, do you want to take lead on our P3 of Viper?
I can do, yeah. So, Viper, I know you like to start on the slightly harder compound tyres when it comes to qualifying. So, do you think you qualified where you wanted to, or did the rain sort of hamper where you wanted to start from?
The rain, it sort of changed the way I was going to go about things, but ultimately I was going to start on the mediums anyway. I think realistically, because of the rain and people invalidated early on, I started higher up than I would have done. I think I would have aimed for P11 otherwise, but P7 wasn't a bad starting position until at the end of midway through the first lap. I had that lovely desync, which meant that I just cleared the entire field with the VSC. But yeah, mediums was always the plan, and P7 was probably higher than I would have had with the rain. So
yeah, we did see the VSC incident at the start, and we did say that was very sportsman of you to give the spots back and put yourself back down into P5. Did you expect to be able to make your way through the field the way you did? I know you're obviously used to fighting at the front of the pack in F1, having raced against you myself, but did you expect to get through quite as fast as you did against the soft runners, or were you just hoping that your strategy would win out in the end?
I had literally no idea what to expect going in, because all I'd done was TT. So like with race pace and whatnot, I literally had no idea what I could do. I think my one lap pace was quite good, But in terms of actual like race pace and race consistency, I had very little idea what to expect, other than the fact that the mediums are generally a much slower tyre than the softs. So I wasn't sure how quickly I was going to get through the field, sort of how big the gaps were going to get between each of the drivers. Obviously, Binary pulled about 4 seconds or so to, who was it, Az and Guillaume and Steph, by the time I got past those two. So gaps like that forming made things a bit easier at times. I think, obviously, after I dropped back down to P5, there were only 4 cars ahead of me, so it wasn't quite as challenging as it would have been had I had a poor start and had to give the places back all the way down to, like, say, P9, P10, for example. But yeah, it was all right.
Well, you've got to be happy with the podium, and I know you were fighting with Binary towards the end of the race. Was it a little bit of an outbreaking thing? Did you expect to spin when obviously Binary made the pass on you, or were you just hoping to keep the inside line and just lost the rear end towards the race?
So the I knew from TT the diff and bias I was running meant the rears were under a lot of stress, which meant that the rear tyre temps were quite high, and so I knew going into the braking zone that it was going to be quite a high chance of locking the rear, but I just thought, fuck it, I'll do what I can anyway, and lock the rears, and then rather than spear into the side of Binary, I sort of got back on the brakes even harder to try and actually rotate my car so I spun and didn't spear him off with me, basically.
No, you definitely
Which-
should have done that.
but yeah, so managed to recover it a bit. But I always knew going into that braking zone it was going to be tough, and those softs, especially the rears, had taken a massive beating. So that final lap, I knew after, I think, how many laps of the race? 28, wasn't it? I think it was
Yes.
up 25 when I passed Binary. On the exit, the first corner, I got the gap to about 9/10, and so had I got the gap out to a second there and got out the DRS, I think it would have been a simple win from there, just managing the tyres and DRS and whatnot. But with Binary being in the DRS, I knew he was always going to have a chance on that final lap with those medium tyres against the softs that fade very quickly here, especially with the temps. So it was going to be difficult, and I did what I could. But probably looking back at it, should have upped the brake bias going into that corner to, I think it was on 54 to about 56 or something, just to make sure the rears didn't lock. But it's not a big deal. Yeah,
It was one of them. I thought we'd either see you go side by side through the next 3 or 4 corners, or you'd smash into the side of him. So I think you did well not to do the smashing into the side of him. But
Yeah.
you still took P3, so you still took the podium. Are you looking at carrying on the podium form to Monaco, or?
absolutely not. I'm not turning up. Absolutely not.
There you go.
Whatever's after Monaco, I'll probably be there. But Monaco,
Okay.
I've not done a league race there since F1 2019, and that streak plans to continue. I'd rather drink bleach personally, but we move.
That's an opportunity for another driver in the F1 League to take a win there, I think. That's it from me, but congratulations to the 3 of you in the podiums, and well done for not killing each other, I think, Binary and Viper there towards the end. So,
Almost.
yeah, good race.
Really.
Anything from you, Beastie?
I think you've covered everything there, so congratulations on P3 Viper. So we'll wrap the stream up there. F1XL will be back on the next Sunday's race, which will be around the streets of Monaco, and I believe it'll be on Wednesday for the F2 race. So hope you tune in, and we will see you then. Me and Gunhead, we should be back on F2, so we will see you 9 PM on Sunday. See you then.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ticket it because it was